Alright guys, so here we are then for the final race of AOR, final race of the season, and also my final league race on F1 2017. Yeah, AOR Brazil. This is also going to be my final race for AOR on the PC, because I have announced that for next season of league racing on F1 2018, I will be switching to the PS4. Yeah, here we are then for the final race at Brazil. It's a track which I quite like. I've had some good races here in the past too. I remember the Race Stars PC Season 1 race. I actually managed to win that race in the McLaren, which was yeah, my first league race I managed to win on this track on F1 2017. And I think last season at AOR I had a decent race around there too. So here we are then in qualifying. You can see it is raining. Yeah, it's going to be raining for this session, although it is forecasted to dry up a little bit towards the end. Yeah, I basically took the setup which I used for the AOR race last season, as you can see here. I did some minor changes to it. I think I upped the front wing a little bit for the rain conditions, because of course we can bring the front wing down when the race starts, because of the park permit regulations. They don't acquire for the front wing angle, of course. So here we are then leaving the pits for the first run of qualifying. Of course, 12 minutes in this session to set lap time on the full wet tires at the moment. Though you can see in the sky that there are some slight spots of blue there, so it might be drying up a little bit towards the end. So here we go then, starting our first lap of the session here, and hopefully we can get a good banker lap time in. I actually didn't do much fuel in the car. Usually in a rainy session I would do a lot of laps worth of fuel in the car, and I would probably not come into the pits the entire session and just do laps and laps and laps to just you know, improve your confidence, build up the confidence and the speed. But for this qualifying session, it was a bit weird because it was set to dry up. So I decided to do quite a low fuel run and then return to the pits to split the session up in 2 runs to see if the track at the end of the session would be dry enough to go for the intermediate tire. As you can see there, having a huge slide on the exit of the Senna S as we came through turn 3 there, and now breaking down into turn 4. My banker lap time was okay. It's currently good enough for 12th place, and as you can see again, sliding through turn 7 there. And yeah, it was very difficult to find the grip and push the limits. And yeah, of course, in a session like this, you really actually are tempted to do a lot of laps to just build up the confidence, but we only have 12 minutes, so that's a really short time. And I actually didn't do any practice for this race, not even 1 lap, but it didn't really matter that much because I've done so many races on this track, on this game, so many league races. I think I've done like 3 or 4 league races and career mode races, so I was very I actually felt very confident, and I don't think I really needed the practice for this race. So the second lap is done. We improved our time to a 1:22.2. So we are now still in top position, but we have improved the time. You can see again having a hard time to keep the rear end of the car in control, and I was actually improving on this third lap here, but in the end I decided to back out of it and return back into the pits because the time was getting a little bit short to come in again. As you can see, again a huge slide on the exit, but you can see clearly that the track is drying up. So despite improving on the delta time, I think I even made a bit of a mistake later on in the lap. So that was yeah, the thing that decided me to that made me decide to come into the pits and abort this final lap, because there are only 4 minutes 40 remaining. So if I would have continued this lap, I would struggle for time to come back in and drive out and do another lap. So I wanted to do 2 laps in this final run, so that's why I aborted my lap and came back into the pits. So yeah, that's the first run complete then. On the full wet tires, I wanted to check if some other drivers had switched to the intermediate tires. So as you can see, 3 minutes and 45 seconds remaining. I checked the race director here to see if somebody had bit the bullet already, and you can see a few drivers there on intermediates. So I decided to take the tablet and change the tires as well. You can see on the delta there, 1.1 seconds it says is the advantage for the intermediate tires at the moment. So with 3 minutes and 25 seconds to go, I decided, okay, I can wait and go for 1 lap, but I was like, I can just about squeeze in 2 laps. So I actually got the message there that I didn't have the right tire compound, so I had to ignore it and go out on track. It was a bit weird because the game even said the delta was better on the inters, but still it said you don't have the right tires, but I just ignored it and went out on track. And so here we go then, out of the garage for our final run in the session. and so we'll be looking to improve our lap time on the intermediate tires. So first time using the inters, of course. We are currently in 14th position, so that's a little bit down the order. I would prefer to be a little bit higher up the field, of course. So yeah, really, I was really looking forward to this race. I mean, I really wanted to end my league racing on F1 2017 on the PC on a high, because this is going to be my final race on PC for AOR. So it's kind of, you know, sad to leave all of these guys here, but yeah, I'll be moving on to a different league on PS4. So here we go then. 1 minute and 35 seconds remaining, so we can just about do 2 laps in this final run. I wanted to do this so I could have 1 lap to build up my confidence and then have a final blast at the end of the session. So yeah, you can see currently improving on our time again, going a little bit sideways here through turn 7, very sideways, full opposite lock there through the corner, as we actually turned it a little bit too early. I had to make a correction with the wheel, but yeah, we have a car in front of us there too, so hopefully it won't get in our way. It's also actually quite nice to have someone in front of you to have kind of as a reference point, but yeah, closing off the lap now. We're now coming through this left-hander turn 11. Indeed, he pulls out of the way to the inside, so thank you for that. Very nice there. He didn't hold me up or anything. So now coming through turn 12, the final corner. A little bit of a slider on the exit, but of course some minor slides aren't a big deal. It's actually sometimes ideal because you want to be on the limit, you want to slide a little bit. But now coming up to the line to end our lap, where we will end up, we actually end up in 3rd place there. So we make a huge jump from P14 to P3, and we still have time to do one final lap here at the end of the session. So this is going to be my 4th flying lap, my 2nd lap in this run. And now coming through turn 4 again, or turn 3, sorry, qualifying is now complete. Coming over the back straight, braking down for turn 3, braking just after 100 meter, but back down into 4th gear, clipping the apex of the corner. Then on the power again, a little bit sideways there on the exit, squeezing the power wheel now up into 7th gear. There's a McLaren that crashed out, so luckily we avoided him. He wasn't in the way or anything, and I think he ghosted as well. Now coming through turn 7, trying to be smooth on the power, now braking down. Very easy to lock up here. We clip the apex now, turning left in 3rd gear. It's very easy to lose the backhand. You want a short shift out of this corner, squeeze on the power again. That was very, very nice. Now braking down into this final sector, back down into 3rd gear, clipping the apex once again. Now trying to get smooth on the power. A little bit of an oversteer moment there, but it's not too bad. Coming through the penultimate corner now, a little bit of a slide again. Now braking down into 3rd gear for the final corner. Little bit, I was a little bit decisive there on the entry. I didn't really have confidence to turn in. Was a little bit too early there, but wasn't too bad. As Kreustein goes to the fastest lap within 1 minute 18.7. We now come up over the line. We are currently in 3rd position. Can we improve our lap time? We can, but we don't improve in position. So it is currently P3. We actually moved to P4 there, as you can see on the top left. And in the end, it was P5. So yeah, 5th place then for the start of this race. You can see it at my fastest lap at the end of the session there, my 4th flying lap. So 2 laps on the wets, 2 laps on the intermediates, and actually the rest of the field, like behind me, didn't even touch the intermediate tires, which is quite remarkable. But maybe on then for the race, it is going to be a dry race. Well, at least it's going to be a dry start, because as you may have noticed there, it said that it is going to rain at the end of the session. So I moved the front wing back down into 1 to have yeah, better straight line speed. And also better rear end grip, because of course the rear wing angle is set to 8 or 9, I think. So of course, in terms of strategy, we have a free choice because we have qualified on intermediate. So I was deciding to start on softs, but in the end, I was like, maybe it's better to start on the super softs and just see it from there. I was actually about to go on the softs there, but I was like, at the last second, nah, I'm just gonna change it to super softs again, and just see what the rest does, see how the race pans out, and just be fast at the beginning, and then we can always go to softs in the second stint. So this is what I went for in the end, just the default strategy. And so here we go then. The 5 lights are coming on, starting in 5th place, the final run of the season in AOR Season 15. 36 laps here in Brazil, and lights out, and away we go. So trying to get a good starter into turn 1, of course. Trying to keep our front wing intact. It's happened way too many times in my league racing career that I've broken my front wing off the start, almost breaking it again as we hit the Haas car in the back there. So luckily to get away with that without any damage. So coming over the backs right now, breaking down into turn 4. Can we outbrake this Renault here? No, we can't. We just stuck in behind him, and we have still that Haas car on our outside, but he surrenders the position, and we maintain 4th position then off the start. So we've gained 1 position off the start, which is quite nice. Also managed to keep our nose clean and avoid any damage. as we have a little bit of a look up the inside of the Renault there. He is starting on the soft tires. Pretty much the entire top 5, I think, started on the softs apart from us. So yeah, all of these drivers in front of us now are on the soft compound. So we have the advantage here in this early phase of the race. Now coming to the end of lap 1, we try to go to the inside on the back straight. The Renault defends a little bit, but we brake a little bit later into turn 1. The first one of the Senna S's. He still is up the inside there into turn 2. But with the inside for turn 3, a little bit of contact was made, I think. But we have managed to get the position now pretty cleanly, and we're now up into third place, as there was a little bit of lag there. But yeah, breaking down now for turn 4, back then into fourth gear, and trying to settle into a rhythm in this race now on lap 2 of 36. So still 35 laps to go in this race, and we'll just see how it pans out with the strategy and everything. So up at the third place, I was quite surprised. I was really happy with the start I made. If he could be on the podium in this final race, it would be absolutely I would be ecstatic if he could achieve that. But yeah, breaking down for turn 10 now, the right-hander, of course, very much a traction zone, especially when the tires are starting to wear out. It will be quite difficult to get the power down there. Now coming through the final corner, and it's still Kreelstein, my compatriot, on the lead of the race, in the lead of the race, I should say. He is currently actually second in the championship. The champion of AOR Season 15 F5 is actually Paul Trex, but he isn't racing today, so he is missing this race, but he has enough margin. He was crowned champion last race, so that's not a big deal for him. So yeah, Kreelstein in the lead is doing very good work to to make sure he finishes second in the championship, because Dakkerberg is actually quite close behind him in third place in the championship. I think he is currently like 6th or 7th in the race, so it's looking good for my compatriot Kreelstein in the lead. But wait, yeah, we've opened lap 3 now, 3 of 36, shifting down into 5th gear there for this right-hander, and yeah, trying to settle into a rhythm like I said before, because of course you yeah, sometimes when going, especially now with a wet qualifying session and a dry race, you have to adjust a little bit to those dry conditions. And yeah, for me personally, I don't really have a problem with that. I always can adjust quite quickly, I feel. And also, of course, with heavy fuel, we have yeah, 36 laps of fuel in the car, so even a little bit more. I actually overfueled a little bit, like 1.5 laps, so we could burn a little bit more fuel on the race, use some higher fuel mappings. But yeah, I think after 3 laps, we are now opening lap 4. We have settled into a rhythm, so now we can try to focus on catching up to the first 2 cars, because we can still see them. They aren't far off, and of course they're also, like I said, on the slower compound of tires. They are starting on the softs, we are on the super softs, so yeah, because the qualifying was in the rain, it allows everyone to have a free compound of tire to start on, which makes for some very interesting split strategies. There is even some drivers starting on the mediums, I think, further behind. So yeah, lap 4 of 36 now coming through turn 7 here. A very nice right-hander, very quick, shifting out into 5th gear. I think we're closing up slightly here on the Red Bull in front of us, and we are a little bit closer now as we skip to the end of lap 4. Coming over the back straight now, DRS is of course enabled, and we actually pick it up here. So we have opened the DRS now. And can we maybe make a move into turn 1? We set the faster lap. Can we brake later into turn 1? No, not quite. We think better of it. Actually, outbrakes himself. Goes a little bit wide. He will have the inside for the second part of the Senna S. He pushes off a little bit onto the green AstroTurf there. But yeah, he still manages to maintain second place. A little bit aggressive there, but of course he has the rights to do so. He is my teammate, but there aren't any team orders or something. We're both not fighting for the championship. So he had yeah, he did the thing which he needed to do, which is defend his position. So he has all the rights to do that. So yeah, now trying to find a way past, because I felt like I was a little bit held up, because we have closed in on him, and also he's defending quite hard, which is really yeah, making my life a little bit more difficult, as he runs a little bit wide again. He's making a few mistakes, which was frustrating me a little bit, because I wanted to get past him to have clean air and maybe mount an attack on Kreelstein in the lead, because he is very fast, but if you start battling like this, he will pull away even more. So coming through the final corner now on lap 5 of 36 into 4th gear. A little bit of a front lockup there, but nothing too bad. Again, we will pick up the DRS again in the substream of the Red Bull, my teammate. Will we go for the outside? Will we go for the inside? We choose the inside here. A little bit of contact there with the right wheels. Luckily, no damage. But here we go alongside on the backstride. Who's going to be the last of the late breakers? It looks like it's us. So we just about move up into second position now. We have dispatched our teammate, and he's now fallen back into P3. And now we can chase after Kreelstein on the super soft tires as well.
Gap to car in front is 3.2
Alright, so Jeff told us that we are slightly closing in on Kriestein in the lead. We are about 3/10 per lap faster. But now, again, look at our teammate Idemaris. He is trying to outbrake us into turn 1 here. And this is not helping me. This is just losing us so much time. We lose the back end there in turn 2. And again, losing the back end. And my teammate has got the position back. And of course, he has the right to do this. But it was kind of frustrating me because I wanted to close in on Kriestein in the lead. And this is just, yeah, really... annoying because it's costing so much time. All this battling again, he runs wide. We have a little bit of a run on him, but you can see I had a few lag spikes at this stage of the race, which was also frustrating because every time I got close, he teleported a bit up ahead again because, yeah, for some reason I had a few lag spikes. I don't know why. This only occurs online. I never have this when I'm in career mode or time trial or something, but yeah, it was a little bit annoying, but maybe some other people were having issues with it as well. But as you can see now, at the end of the final corner, he just completely spins out on the exit. Just went on the power too quickly there and spun out. So that's very unfortunate for him. It's good for us though, because we have now moved up into second position again. But the time lost to Kriestein is quite a lot. He is now quite far up into the lead. I can't read the time there because it's a little bit too small on my preview screen. But yeah, he has pulled away from us, and he is the faster man at the moment, I think. So. Yeah, we now have Dakkerberg behind us in P4, and it's now lap 14 of the race. We are coming in for a set of soft tires. I was a little bit decisive there because I wanted to maybe try to go for another set of super softs because the rain is coming. But I was just, I'm not going to take that risk. I'm going to go into the soft tire. Just pretend like I'm just sticking to the default strategy. So yeah. Soft compound then, we follow back into A place behind Jipper and in front of Ping Too High. Now in front of T-Havoc, let's try to get a nice run out of the pits. Of course, you don't want to hit the wall here. That's going to be very embarrassing to lose your front wing out of the pits there. But yeah, lap 16 now. Trying to close in on a few drivers that haven't stopped yet. So the car in front of us now, he is on the medium tires. I think he started on this compound. I'm not sure if he went into the pits and moved onto this set, but I think he started on it, but I'm not sure about that. So either way, we want to get past this Renault because he is, I think, a little bit slower compared to us because we are simply on the faster compound of tires. So even going purple there in the final sector as we now open up lap 17 of this race, and we actually set the fastest lap time of the race. So it's always nice to see. It's always a little bit confidence inspiring to get a purple lap time there. So coming through the Senna S's now. Up into 6th gear, coming through turn 3. We will pick up the DRS, I think. Yes, we do. So now coming over the back straight on lap 17 of 36. Again going purple into the first sector. You can see braking really deep into turn 4. I almost hit the back of the runner there. I broke really late and hard into that corner. So luckily we didn't brake so late that we hit the back of the car there, but I want to get past quite desperately, and we just drive it up the inside there. Very nice move there, very clean. He left us the space, so props to him. But yeah, it was quite a risky move and quite yeah, spontaneously. It wasn't really my intention, but I saw the opening, I saw the gap, and I just went for it and dove it up the inside. But yeah, like I said at the start, rain is forecasted for this race, so let's see and hear when it's going to arrive.
Looks like rain is inbound, and we're expecting it in around 5 minutes. 5 minutes until the rain.
Alright, so Jeff is saying that it is going to be 5 minutes until the first drops of rain will arrive. So currently on lap 21 or 36. Well, 5 minutes will mean about lap 23, lap 24. So yeah, we'll have to be very wary about that, and it will become a very interesting topic now of when everybody is going to change to the intermediate tires, because it's quite difficult to tell you know, when the perfect time is in the crossover point when to switch over to the wet tires. But you can see we have Dakkerberg now in the McLaren on the super soft tires. He was closing us in for the entire race. Now he's making a move up the inside. Bit of contact there into turn 1. We defend it though. We have the inside for turn 2, and we maintain the lead, 4th place I mean. And that move was quite crucial for our race. I felt a little bit sorry though to Dakkerberg, because he is on the super soft tires, he is on a faster compound. He was closing me in, and you know, with this defending, I'm really holding him up, and destroying his race a little bit. He again has a look on the outside there of turn 7. That's not gonna work. But yeah, like I said, I felt a little bit guilty about it. And now he dives it up the inside into turn 8. We leave the space for him. We're off the inside for turn 9 here. This very slow corner, very much a traction zone on the exit. We short shift though. He's still on the outside. It will turn to the inside for this next corner, and he does block the apex and makes the move into 4th place, almost losing the back end there on the exit. And now Duckerberg has got through on us, and I don't think we will have an answer because he is on the faster compound of tires and is faster than us at this stage of the race. But yeah, like I said, felt a little bit sorry for holding him up there, but of course he has now got through on us, and I don't think it cost him that much time. And after the race I told about it, I spoke about it in Discord, and he said it was completely fine. It's my purpose to defend my position, so it wasn't a big deal. So yeah, P5 then on lap 23 of 36. If we listen to Jeff, this will be the point where we will see the first spots of rain maybe on track. So we are still just behind Duckerberg. He actually takes a very defending line there into turn 8, which was quite surprising. I think he was afraid of me driving it up the inside there. He saw me in the mirrors and wanted to defend his position. But yeah, I wasn't really looking to attack him. I was actually more interested in staying behind him and yeah, just using the slipstream and DRS to drag me along. I wasn't really interested in attacking and having a fight for 4th place. It's quite, there's not really a point in doing so. So yeah, lap 24 now. Again, he takes a defensive line. We almost hit the back of him as we brake very late. We brake very late in that corner. Every lap I see I'm closing in on other drivers in that corner. So for some reason we can brake really late there into turn 4 it is. And almost to the point where it's getting dangerous because I'm getting so close to the back of cars there because I brake so late. It's kind of becoming a little bit dangerous for our front wing. But yeah, lap 26 of the race now.
Okay, be careful on those slicks. These conditions are making the line a bit greasy, but we're still nowhere near the changeover point.
Alright, so you can quite clearly see that the rain has started to fall now. And Jeff said it's quite difficult, of course. The line is starting to get a little bit slippery, but yeah, we're nowhere near the crossover point at the moment, so we will stay out on the slick tires. Of course, you can quite clearly see that the track is not wet enough yet to come in for inters. Again, we're starting to slide around a little bit, so at this point I was starting to think about making the change to inters.
The tyre situation is an interesting one, but I think the right call is to stick with what we've got right now.
Alright, so for once Jeff is actually providing us with some useful information, because he is saying, okay, yeah, you need to be careful, but it's not time, and it's not time yet to come into it's not the right time rather to come into the pits for the inter. So actually you can see there that is there somebody coming into the pits. There are Jipper and some other drivers are now starting to peel off into the pits, so including my teammates. So yeah, this is a very early point in the race, and I was quite surprised to see Jipper coming into the pits. He was battling with Duckerberg there for P4 in the race, and now we've moved up into P3 with Duckerberg in P2. And yeah, now on lap 28, I was waiting for the DRS to get disabled. It has still not been disabled yet, and Duckerberg actually pulls into the pits on the next lap. So that is quite interesting. I decided to stay out. I didn't think the track was wet enough for the inters, but on this lap I really started to slide around, and the track was really getting wet. You can see full opposite lock there coming through the penultimate corner, and I was like, okay, now it is wet enough. Now it is time to come in. And I was just waiting as well for the confirmation for the DRS to get disabled. And you can see there, it just at the perfect timing it says DRS disabled. So I was like, okay, this is the point. This is the perfect point to come into the pits. As I accidentally changed the camera there. That wasn't meant to do that. As we just about get it stopped for the pit lane there. Luckily, we didn't pick up a penalty. So lap 29 of 36, we are making our final stop in this race. If everything goes to plan, of course, making the change to the intermediate tires. And yeah, luckily we do have some practice on this compound, because of course the second run in qualifying was in similar conditions on the same tires. So yeah, coming out of the pits now, we're actually still in 3rd place. Look at that, we've managed to gain 2 positions in the pits. Jipper and Duckerberg both went in too early, and we have both done the overcut on both of them. So we have now made up 2 positions during the pit stop phases by just simply making the right strategy call. And now we are in 3rd position on the podium, behind Borderline, in front of Jipper. And yeah, opening up lap 33 or 36 now, just 4 laps to go in this race. The weather conditions are just, staying like this until the end of the race. We are a little bit down on fuel, but that's not a big deal. Of course, we can easily save that until the end. So yeah, we don't really have pressure at this point. We have Jipper about 3 seconds behind us, and we are also about 4 seconds behind Borderline. So quite an easy race from this point onwards. I really like these intermediate conditions too. yeah, I felt very comfortable, and I was really happy to yeah, be in this position. Of course, starting in 5th place, now being in 3rd, it's a very nice race. Very nice to yeah, probably get back on the podium again. Of course, it's not over yet. I mean, anything can still happen. We can pick up a penalty or something and fall off the podium, or even crash out. You can see sliding around a little bit there, but yeah, for the rest of the race, it was quite easy. I was just in the groove, and yeah. Now coming through the penultimate corner, then trying to keep the rear end under control, of course, because it is quite easy to spin up the rears in the intermediates, in the intermediate conditions, and it was actually set to dry up again at the end of the race. So that's also, when I came in for Inters, I was like, should I do this? Because Jeff actually said to me that it will be drying up quite quickly, and he said, like, he was saying that the rain wouldn't last that long. So I actually considered going in for like super soft tires, because I was expecting maybe the rain to disappear again very quickly. But luckily I managed to, or luckily I made the decision to go to the Inters, and luckily I did it on the right lap as well, because lap 29 seemed to be the perfect sweet spot for changing from the slick to the wet tires. So yeah, now on lap 36 of 36 is the final lap of the race, coming through the final sector. Creostein has won this race. He's done a pretty much a perfect weekend here. Borderline is going to take 2nd place on the podium as we now come through the final corner. We still have enough fuel to make it to the end, just about, with Duckerberg behind us in 4th place. And we will round off the final race of the season on the podium, and I'm really happy with that result. So here we go, crossing the line in 3rd place. And there we have it. We have taken 3rd place here in this final race in AOR, and I'm so happy with that result. Really nice to be on the podium in my final ever league race in F1 2017, and my final ever AOR race on PC. So here we see the podium then. Creostein takes out the race win in front of Borderline and us. So that makes it actually a full Dutch lockout on the podium, which is quite rare to see in AOR. You can see that the flags above. Of course, AOR is an international league, but we have managed to take a Dutch 1-2-3 here in this final race in Brazil. So yeah, there we go. That is this race done. And like I said, I'm really pleased with that result. And that wraps up this season 15 of AOR. So here we can see the results then. And yeah, I really want to thank you for watching this video, if you are still sticking around till the end. And here you can see the lap times too. But yeah, that's been my final race here on the PC side of AOR, like I said. And it's quite sad because I'm really gonna miss those guys. But yeah, that's been it for this video. And I'm really happy for F1 2018, and I'm really curious to see what F1 2018 will bring us in terms of league racing. So that's been the end of this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.